Hits and eliminations. 9.1 Definition of a hit. 9.1.1 A player is eliminated if a paintball fired from a paintball marker by a live player strikes that player or anything he is wearing or carrying, and such paintball breaks and leaves a mark, regardless of the size. If the paintball strikes the player or anything he is wearing or carrying but does not break and leave a mark, such player is not eliminated. If a player is hit and marked by a paintball shot by an eliminated member of the opposing team, such player is not eliminated. If a paintball strikes another object first and breaks upon that object before marking a player or anything he is wearing or carrying, such player is not eliminated. 9.1.2 If the referee did not see the source of a paint marking a player has on him that resembles a hit, such player will be declared eliminated. Penalties may apply. Generally, if the paint marking is reasonably solid, appears to be a direct hit, rather than smear, splatter, spray, paint from kneeled on or sat on paintballs, it will be considered a valid hit. 9.1.3 In the event two opposing players are hit and marked simultaneously, or if the referee cannot determine which player was hit and marked first, both players will be eliminated. 9.1.4 Referees will make every effort to wipe smear, splatter, spray, or paint from kneeled on or sat on paintballs off a player at the time they are inspected. If a player continues to play with such paint, such player does so at the risk of being eliminated for wearing paint that resembles a valid hit. 9.1.5 Only referees will remove invalid hits, except that a player may remove an invalid hit on the lens of their goggle system with the permission of the referee. 9.2 Players and hits. 9.2.1 Players are responsible for becoming aware of hits. 9.2.2 If being hit, a player has to immediately cease play and signal his elimination. Failing to do so constitutes playing on. 9.2.3 If a player gets shotted and he cannot check for a hit by himself at certain locations, for example visor, throat, back, harness, he has to immediately cease play and call a referee for a paint check. Failing to do so constitutes playing on. 17. 9.2.4 Players who are in motion and get shot at may continue to the nearest cover whenever there is such cover between them and the nearest opponent. Otherwise they must immediately turn their motion away from the opposition and stop. Upon arrival at such cover, the player must immediately check himself for hits. Shooting, posting, communicating, failing to immediately check for a hit and failing to immediately signal his elimination, if indeed hit, will constitute playing on. 9.2.5 Players who are hit in locations that can be self-checked may not call for a paint check. Calling for a paint check under such circumstances constitutes playing on. 9.2.6 Players who get shot in non-abandoned equipment to which they were separated less than 2 meters, except squeegees and prods, are considered hit. 9.3 Eliminations. 9.3.1 Players will be eliminated if any part of their bodies or anything that they are wearing or carrying touches the ground outside the playing field boundary. 9.3.2 Players will be eliminated if they push out any tape or fencing used as a boundary line. The boundary markings will be considered to be in bounds. 9.3.3 Players will be eliminated if they lose their goggles. 9.3.4 Players that are found with prohibited equipment on the field or those working on their markers in violation of the provisions specified in marker section will be immediately eliminated. 9.3.5 Players that separate themselves from any piece of equipment or clothing that they brought onto the game field by more than 2 meters, except squeegees, pods, harnesses and loaders will be immediately eliminated. 9.3.6 Players who pick up any equipment, also abandoned, which has a hit on it are considered eliminated. 9.3.7 Players that engage in unsportsmanlike conduct will be eliminated. Unsportsmanlike conduct includes, but is not limited to: A. Failure to obey a referee's call. B. Deliberate avoidance of a referee in a manner that prevents a referee from chronographing a marker on the field or prevents him from making a call. C. Shooting at referees. D. Shooting a clearly eliminated player with malicious intent to injure or intimidate. E. Excessive shooting, which is defined as shooting a player more than is reasonably enough to effect elimination. F. Requesting paint checks to distract referees from checking themselves or teammates or to use referees to locate opposition players. 9.3.8. Players are responsible for removing old hits or bringing the same to the attention of a referee prior to game time, so that they may be dealt with in a manner that would not result in the elimination of the players. 9.3.9. Players that get eliminated shall do following immediately after: A. Stop playing. B. Signal their elimination by putting one hand on their head. C. Leave the playing field with all equipment they were carrying at the time of their elimination by the most direct route off-field or any other route directed by a referee. Players that take routes that are not the most direct and that are meant to conceal from the other team such players' eliminations, or players that refuse to follow a referee's direction on leaving the field, will be considered to be playing on